Now in Demo 3 we talked about the net TCP relay binding and why you should always strive to prefer that binding for performance and efficiency reasons. And so in this demo I'm going to show the effects that relay versus direct connection mode has on the binding and why it really is preferable. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the code for Demo 3. You can download this code yourself and play with it locally. Just once again, you will require an account for Azure App Fabric Service Bus so that you can create your own namespace. You won't be able to use mine. And so the client and the service concept here is very, very similar. There's some minor differences here, so I'll just run through those very quickly. Just a different kind of implementation here. So kind of the same idea. We have a one-way operation contract defined by the service contract. He's going to paint a string to the console, really take a string, which then will be implemented within the service type here, and we'll go ahead and write that to the console and append the word receive. On the configuration itself, just a couple things to note. We are using the net TCP relay binding, which is really all there is to setting that. We're still using the same shared secret authentication authorization mode, and then you'll notice here that we have a connection mode of hybrid, so we're actually overriding the connection mode and basically setting it to hybrid. Now, on the client side, we have very much the same. Let my machine here decide if it wants to come back. On the client side, we're achieving binding equivalence once again. We have all the same configuration on the client side, security, and we are also overriding the net TCP relay binding connection mode configuration. So where things get a little more interesting is on the client side. We're doing all the same stuff. We're creating our service URI, we're creating our channel factory, we're pretty much doing your standard WCF stuff. And then right here, what you'll find is that I'm just enlisting or subscribing to this connection state changed event. So the connection state change event will basically fire anytime that the state of the connection has been upgraded. So we talked about in the talk, and this is covered in the slides, that first the binding will communicate as it would with any other request response binding. So there's a rendezvous connection happening, and then as it's inspecting the heuristics, if you will, coming from both the client and the service, it'll try to guess the port and establish a direct connection between the two. And so if that happens, we will actually write to the console upgraded. If it doesn't, we won't. And Microsoft has had, I think, about north of 85% success doing this, which is pretty significant. So with that kind of covered, the client code really, in order to demonstrate the difference in throughput between regular and direct mode, or relayed and direct mode, is we're going to send as many messages as we possibly can 4 times a second, right? And so what you should see is that when the upgrade happens, the throughput, in other words, the number of messages sent in that full fourth of a second cycle, should jump significantly. So let's actually take a look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up my service here. Enter my service namespace. All right. Looks like he's done, and he's ready to start accepting messages. So let me go ahead and fire up my client. Go ahead and okay. So go ahead and hit enter. client will establish a connection to the bus, send a control message, and here we go. So service is receiving messages. We have not yet been upgraded. Looks like we just got upgraded. And we're seeing somewhat of a spike. We're consistently around 300 messages, and your mileage will vary. So let's actually kill this, and let's try this again. Alright, so we're pumping messages. See if the upgrade succeeds. Yep, so there we go. We're about 600 messages per second, which is pretty significant. And as I talk in the presentation portion of this talk, this is really no different than the technology that your instant messenger client uses, right? So if you have ever experienced sending a file, like a picture, a spreadsheet or whatever, to a buddy or a coworker over your instant messaging client, you find that at first, it's taking a while, and then all of a sudden, snap, it's kind of done, right? And that's basically exactly what they're doing, is they're trying to establish that direct kind of peer-to-peer connection, which is going to have a significant improvement around throughput, lower latency, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead and shut these down. So in Demo 3, I talked about the effects of the direct connection mode with NetTCP relay binding. And again, feel free to download the code as well as the presentations. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Catch up with me on Twitter. Happy to talk. Thanks. Bye.